What's going on, folks? Sean Arnold here, and welcome to another deck showcase video for Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. Today I'm going to be showing off my anti-meta deck. But before I go on to talking about the cards, let's talk about what the word meta means. The word meta is a word used throughout the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community basically to describe what the trend is. And that refers to what decks are most popular at the time being. Depending on where you are or where you're from, the meta will be different depending on the people that you're playing with. If you're playing at your local hobby store, then the cards available to them there will be what your meta is. If you're playing online, say like Dueling Network, where they have every single card, the meta will be kind of what is considered to be the most powerful deck overall at the time being. Legacy of the Duelist kind of fits between those two extremes. It's kind of like a hobby store in the way that not everyone has access to all the cards straight away until you do tons of grinding and opening packs and playing lots of duels. But then you get some decks out there where people have worked really hard on their decks and playing those top tier decks. Anti-meta really tries to focus on countering the meta, and there really isn't any specific card that has to be in the anti-meta deck. It's just anything which you feel is going to be effective at combating what you're expecting to play against. For myself, what kind of beats me most of the time are decks which can do tons of special summoning. So first of all, I have tons of cards in here which are anti-special summon. I have 3 copies of Vanity's Emptiness. A lot of people should know that card by now because it's I've done loads of videos with Vanity's Emptiness in it, but in case you don't know, I will tell you in just a second once I have gotten all my anti-summon cards. Where is Jogan and Fossil? There we go. I think that's everyone. Okay, so Vanity's Emptiness, continuous trap card, really great versatile trap card. You can run it in almost any deck. There's some decks which you won't fit in. Decks which make really big plays don't ever want this card slowing them down. But for rogue decks, for decks which aren't top tier decks, this is a card really good to have because it kind of slows your opponent down, and plus it destroys itself using its own effect, so it doesn't last for a very long time. And if you have cards which are special summonable, then you can still run this card in with those cards because it won't always be around. Fossil, Dino, Pachycephalo and Jogan both kind of do similar things. Both monsters stop both players from special summoning and of continuous effect card. Fossil Dino has an extra effect, and the effect is that when it's flipped face up, you get to destroy all special summon monsters in the field. Really great for using during your opponent's turn. So if you're expecting your opponent to do a lot of special summoning, or they special summon a ton of monsters and you manage to survive it somehow, then you can put this card face down, and then during the opponent's turn they will attack it and they'll lose all their special summon monsters. Jogan on the other hand is really good to use in your turn, where you can discard one random card from your hand to the graveyard and you destroy all special summon monsters in the field. Kind of like Dark Hole, but just for special summon monsters only. Both cards are really good. Jogan's a little bit weaker because of his 200 attack, so you need to kind of protect him somehow with your back row cards or whatever you have, but both are really great for stopping special summons. Then you have Thunder King Ryo. Thunder King Ryo stops 2 things. One, it stops players adding card from their deck to their hand. It does stop myself using Pot of Duality, but I don't have so many cards in this deck which add cards from my hand, from my deck to my hand, so 1 copy of Thunder King Ryo doesn't really hurt it too much. But also, Thunder King Ryo can respond to monsters which are special summoned, say through XE summons or through Synchro summons, or any monster which can special summon itself but not through an effect. You can counter it with Thunder King Ryo by tributing this monster and negating the summon. So these are my options for negating special summons or preventing them from happening. As well as lots of special summons, opponents like to use tons of cards which involve the graveyard, or most players now, they seem to use their graveyard as a second resource, almost like a toolbox. It was harder to do that back in the day because not many cards can take advantage of the graveyard, but there are so many decks which work well in the graveyard now, and so I have some cards which are working against that. Oops, I just got rid of Macrocosmos. Give me just 2 seconds, folks, while I just go and get it back. Where are you? Where are you? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh my god, this is so bad. Sorry about this, guys. Macrocosmos. What else am I missing here? Oh, the DD ladies. Is that it? Is that all I have? I think that's all I have. So, Dimensional Fissure. When you play Dimensional Fissure, any monster sent to the graveyard is banished instead. Continuous spell card, really great for using in your turn, and then say destroying an opponent's monster through battle or effect like Raikiki, and stops them from going to the graveyard, and really useful for that. Macrocosmos on the other hand doesn't just stop monsters, it stops all cards from hitting the graveyard. It works really well with Vanity's Emptiness, because Vanity's Emptiness effect won't trigger while Macrocosmos is in the field, and what's great about Macrocosmos is that because it's a trap, you can respond to an effect somehow. If an opponent's card is getting sent to the graveyard by an effect, you can kind of respond to it with Macrocosmos and have it banished instead. So you can gain some advantage sometimes using Macrocosmos. Both cards are really good. A lot of players tend not to run Dimensional Fissure and just use Macrocosmos, but I'm trying out both of them. Alongside Banisher of the Radiance. Banisher of the Radiance is a monster form of Macrocosmos. 1600 attack light monster isn't very strong, but with all the cards I have, I can keep it on the field for a little while, so it can be useful to kind of have if I don't have Macrocosmos or Dimensional Fissure out. Only using one copy of this though. As well as that, we've got the DD Ladies, some of my favourite cards from, well, ever since they came out really. I used to run a deck solely around the DD Ladies, and what they do is, well, DD Assailant, when she is destroyed by battle, she banishes the monster that destroyed it, and DD Warrior Lady, when she battles any monster, you can choose to destroy it. DD Assailant's great because it's got 1700 attack, and a little bit stronger than DD Warrior Lady, and it's great for taking out, say, opponent's boss monster. DD Warrior Lady, on the other hand, is really great for taking out any monster, if it's in defense, if it's in attack, if it's weaker than you, if it's stronger than you, DD Warrior Lady can get rid of it. I would run more copies of DD Warrior Lady over DD Assailant for consistency, but I only have one copy of each, and I like both of them, so they're both here to stay. As well as banishing, one other thing which I'm focusing on is negating effects, and to do that, I have 3 copies of Fiendish Chain. Everyone should know this card by now, but in case you don't, Continuous Trap, chain it to your opponent's monster effect, and you can negate that monster's effect and stop that monster from attacking. And then I've also got Doom Caliber Knight. I'm surprised I haven't seen more people running this card. I guess he doesn't fit in with a lot of decks, but he's still quite strong in my opinion. Doom Caliber Knight cannot be special summoned, but during either player's turn, if a monster's effect is activated, you can tribute this card and negate that monster's effect and destroy that monster. It's a really great solid card for putting pressure on your opponent. However, you've got to be careful with this effect because it can work against them. Well, if your opponent activates an effect which isn't really important, then you will. If an opponent activates an effect, sorry about that interruption. If an opponent activates an effect which isn't really important, then they could force your Doom Caliber Knight to destroy itself when you might not want to. Back in the day, when Monarchs were really strong, a Monarch deck would use Treeborn Foe to activate its own effect to special summon itself, and then Doom Caliber Knight will be destroyed for free, kind of. So you got to be kind of careful with that, which is why I'm only using 2 copies of it. For spell and trap removal, still necessary, I'm using 1 copy of Breaker, 2 copies of MST, kind of standard really. Breaker, very versatile monster. MST, everyone uses MST, so I shouldn't have to explain that one. Then, as well as that, we've got some tech cards in this deck. We've got, let's see, what should I talk about? Book of Moon. No, let's talk about the draw engine first. We've got Allure of Darkness and 3 copies of Pot of Duality. This deck doesn't really do well for drawing, it's kind of slow in that regard, but it's been okay so far. Pot of Duality kind of works. I might put 3 copies of Upstart Goblin in, I'm not sure just yet. But I'll also have Allure of Darkness to banish any monster from my hand, dark monster from my hand, if I don't need it, and draw 2 cards. Then I've got other cards here, our Book of Moon. Book of Moon, one of the greatest quick play spell cards in the game. Forbidden Lance, I've talked about Forbidden Lance before in past videos, but it's a really versatile card for protecting monsters from spell and trap card effects, or reducing a monster's attack by 800 so you can destroy them in battle. Let's talk about Mask Change. Mask Change 2. I've been trying to build an Elemental Hero deck in my spare time, and I had to try out Mask Change because it's what's most popular right now with the Elemental Hero archetype. And I bought the DLC and I managed to get Mask Change 2. From my experience, Master Change 2 is a really versatile card and can kind of fit in any deck. And I decided to put it in here just to give this deck a bit of an extra push, a bit of an extra offense, some more options by accessing this toolbox here. And so far it's worked well. I might take it out if it clashes too much with the anti-special summon cards, but it can be useful, so I'm just trying it out here. Oops, I'll have to fix the deck later. Alright, Cyber Dragon, I've got him in there because he's a light monster and he special summons himself and he has 2100 attack. Just an extra bit more offense for the deck, and it's a really easy beat stick to get out. Plus it combines well with Mass Change in order to get out, what's the light one? Is it Koga? I can use it for Koga if I have to gain a bit more extra attack, so I can combine it with that. Other cards which we have are Kaiku. Talked about Kaiku in a Tech of 30 video, so you can see more about that there. But really great card for banishing 2 monsters from your opponent's graveyard if he manages to inflict damage to them. And both players cannot banish cards in the graveyard, or my opponent cannot banish cards from either player's graveyard. So it's really great for slowing down some decks. What else can I talk about? I don't think there really is much else. We've got Mirror Force in there, we've got Solar Morning, we've got Bottomless Trapper, we've got Compulsory Evacuation Device, all good. Snatch Steal, all good. Monster Removal cards, Raigeki. Evil Swarm Thunderbird I'm trying out because of its effect, but I haven't used it yet, so I can't really talk too much about it, but I will test it out later on. And Honest, a really good light monster, really good hand trap. You can discard this card if a light monster is battling to increase that monster's attack by the opponent's monster attack. Really great for protecting Jogan. Doesn't work with Banish of the Radiance, but good with Cyber Dragon, good with Thunder King Ryo. It's a really good solid card, so I'm trying that out as well. So yeah, this is what I'm using right now. This is the anti-meta deck. It's just about using cards which counter what you're expected to fight against, and it can work well. So give it a try yourself, and if you enjoy it, or if you enjoy this video, let me know. But or if you have any advice and tips, let me know that too. Thank you for watching as always. Much love, take care, and goodbye.